Good afternoon. Welcome to our live stream. I'm being so daring and trying to go live again outside. Excuse me. The weather is a lot calmer today. The wind has calmed down. Okay, there's a guy who's sawing something or drilling something or whatevering something in the background. We'll see if he kicks us out today. Hello, Alessio, my dear. How are you? Welcome to our live stream. We have another person who's joined as well. For those of you who don't know me, hi, Karina, dear. Hello to you in Peru. If you do not know me, this is my account down below. I try to go live every single week and offer you the opportunity to learn English and to practice it and to have lots of different topics that you can explore to be able to improve your English. That's my main goal, is conversation English. If you have fun with these lessons, if you meet other people, if you're able to practice the language, then I have done my job. Hello, Lorena, dear. Welcome to you as well. I think I ate peanuts. I normally always brush my teeth, and they're like natural peanuts with like the brown cover on top of it. And so I think that I have like a brown tooth. Excuse that, please. Kind of disgusting. But yeah, anyway, here we are. So I have a poll for us today. Let's start with that. And for those of you who don't know me, I do come from the United States. I live in Germany, and I happen to be in Cape Town right now. Hello, Tony. Nice to see you. It's been a while. Violet, I can follow your live stream from South Africa. Yes. And so we'll be here to, where are you? So I'm in Cape Town. You don't see very much, but just to give you a bit of an idea. So this is our terrace here. Or not terrace, more of a deck. And there's another deck over there, but yeah, Peter's over there, so I won't bug him. And we have an Airbnb in Cape Town. We decided to not stay in a hotel this time. We were on the road in Uganda for a long time, and every day in a hotel, it gets exhausting. It's wonderful to not have to make your bed or cook or any of those things, but it's also nice to just come home to, not have to say hi to people, just to kind of do your own thing, make a mess and not have to worry about cleaning it right away. So yeah, so it's nice to be here. We're here until I think next Wednesday, I want to say. And then we will go to the wine country in South Africa, stay there for a couple of days, and then we'll head to the beach, a beach called Kameki. Hello, Abnor. Hello. I think this is recorded. No, this is live. This is being recorded, but it is live. So nice to have everybody here. I had a bit of a break when we were in Uganda. We went on safaris a lot, and then you wake up very early and you go on safari, you come home, you have lunch, and then you go again. The internet connection in Uganda is not very good, so I knew it was just going to be stressful to prepare lives and to not have it work. For those of you who tuned in for me to go live with that tribal community, yeah, that didn't work. The internet was not working. So I have an hour and a half, no, actually I have way more than that. I have like 3 hours of footage, 2.5 hours of footage, and I will try to put something together. It's just a complicated thing. I thought it was going to be a Disney story, but it's not. Like many things in life, there are good elements about the story and bad. So I've got a lot of thinking to do, a lot of editing to do, and yeah, soul searching. One of my daughters spent a vacation in Cape Town to study English. Awesome. When was that? When did she study? All right, so let's pull up our first question. We have so much to talk about, as always. So yes, I'm excited to share it with you. And let me see where we're going. I have my phone here because I don't have, excuse me, my other device here to look up things. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of water. Let me pull up okay. So if you could give me a little feedback. I did a quick test live stream today because I had no idea that for our adventure live stream that I was cut out of the picture completely, because on StreamYard, I have a display and I see myself and everything looked totally fine. Oh, now I have mic going. And so, yeah, so basically, I had no idea that it was all kind of wonky. So please give me some feedback. I went live earlier just to test the slides to make sure that everything was okay. 2018 in July. It was a great experience for her. Nice, very nice. So let me know if you see me okay, because right now for me, like this half of my face is cut off. But when I tested it earlier, it looked okay. It seems that when my live stream gets saved, that what one sees is viewed properly. So I don't really know. Actually, I do my best to connect personally with you on EWA live, but that's not happened at all, even after many joins. So Abnor, on EWA, I cannot go live with anyone. I have major problems adding anyone. It kicks the sound out, and I have to restart my live stream. So just by default, I do not add anyone on EWA because there's some sort of glitch with my account and with their account. Lots of other teachers can add people. For some reason, it does not work with me. So I then try to add people after my live stream on Tuesday. You should have showed up then. It looks better now. Oh, it looks okay. Thank you, because for me, it looks really strange. So I'm just going to go by Mohammed, your feedback that everything is okay. So we have our first poll here. What's the first thing you do when you arrive at a new destination? Okay, so we have A, take photos, B, find something to eat, C, explore the sites, or D, take a nap. And if you're a German, E, unpack. I don't know why, but I always feel like Germans, when they get someplace, they have to unpack right away. Anybody else have something that they would like to share? What do you like to do when you get someplace? And I guess it also kind of depends when you arrive. If you arrive in the middle of the night, then maybe you go to bed right away, or, but I always like to get out and start seeing stuff. Even if it's nighttime, it's wonderful to explore cities or different areas at any time of the day. So if anybody wants to share anything else, you're more than welcome to do so. If on your screen you only see half of me, please give me some feedback so I can try to change that. I would scoot this way, I guess, if that's better. Yeah. So, all right, and then we will slowly but surely move on. And I have a banner for us. Okay, so let me move this. And if you're still answering, then you're more than welcome to do so. Yeah, but we'll just continue. Okay, so which tourist activity excites you the most? Okay, so visiting historical sites, outdoor adventures, exploring museums and galleries, or shopping and markets. I feel like we had this yesterday. Yes, we did. Hold on. I think I've messed this up. No. I don't know. Yeah, I think we didn't have this yesterday. I'm losing it. Let's see. Hello to you, Michaela. Welcome. And find something to eat. See, I love taking a walk around and appreciate what the place has to offer. I'd unpack and find something to eat. Okay. It all looks unimaginable. That a very interesting and good when expected teacher have only 6 joins. Yeah, I know. I don't know. That's my life on the internet, but I have the right 6 to 7 people, so that's all that matters. I'm happy with the people who are here. It depends a lot on where you are. That's true. That's true. So, like, if it's in a place that's very touristic, maybe you want to avoid the sites and try to travel off the beaten path. A nice little idiom we've had multiple times now, where you don't go to the normal places and you try something new and different. Yep. For me, kind of all of these things. It's so hard. And maybe the least I would say is outdoor adventures. I'm not very outdoorsy. Tony says outdoor adventures for sure, and socializing with local people. Yeah, that socializing with local people should have been on this list. I like that a lot. That is probably my number one priority, to ask them about their life, what their beliefs are, what families look like, how you decide who to marry, do you get married, different jobs and different things. I love learning about people when I travel. So Alessio, you're saying outdoor adventures as well. So you and Tony are outdoor guys. Lorena is a little bit more on the fence, depends on where we are. Okay. I like all those activities. Okay. So don't want to decide. Fair enough. Not a problem. Let's move on then to our next point, and I will pull that up. Oops. Here we are. All right. Anyhow, I prefer. So you prefer out. We have a lot of outdoor folks. Okay. Okay. I prefer like. Yeah, I'm not outdoorsy. I'm the worst. I prefer to take a nap and to get some energy. Okay. All right. So let's see. I'll pull up our next point, and we're going to turn into more like responsible travel, let's say. And let's see. So, oh, nope, that was not it. Hold on. What's something? I don't have this on here. Hold on. Banner number 1, banner number 2. I don't know if these are my questions from yesterday. Yes, these are my questions from yesterday. So hold on. We're going to do this one first then. I mixed them up. I needed to delete those. So what are the good and bad things about tourism? We talked a little bit about that yesterday, but a nice refresher. What do you think is something good? What is something bad about tourism? When you travel, it's easy to kind of sense, I think, what is good and what is bad. I'm going to get rid of these other guys here so I don't get confused again. So all of these were from yesterday. Sorry about that. We had a couple of repeaters, but maybe some of you were not able to join. Yeah. So what do you say? What are the good things and the bad things about tourism? What can you tell me? Yeah. All right. Oop. I lost your comments. Which kind of bird is singing? Oh gosh. See, I'm not an outdoors person. I don't know. For me, every bird is a pigeon. So I don't know. But there was one earlier that sounded so sweet. Yeah, just really precious. And the other bird I hear is the saw in the background from a neighbor renovating here. So good and bad things. Basically, I'm from the United States. Excuse me, I normally live in Germany, but we are in Cape Town right now in South Africa. So for me, good things. I think it can help local economies. It's a good way of, like what we talked about yesterday. If you were in yesterday's live stream, we brainstormed the different types of jobs that tourism creates, and it creates so many jobs. So it's a good thing perhaps for some countries to be able to have such a huge variety of jobs created. Bad thing, maybe with these jobs, I think I said this yesterday as well, I always wonder if these jobs sometimes get people to stop doing what they used to do. And maybe that's also important to the culture. Like if a lot of people farmed, it takes people away from farms, and maybe it makes them more dependent on outside influences. Hi, Natalia, darling. Nice to have you here. I didn't know you were here. Broadens knowledge and appreciation of nature. Good to visit new places. Bad, overcrowding and the cost of traveling. Okay. Maybe there are some environmental effects that go along with it. Let's see. Then let's kind of staying in this whole sort of vein here. Next one. What's something travelers can do to be more eco-friendly, or eco-friendly, that is? What can you do to be more ecologically, eco-friendly? What are some things that people can do? So maybe you can think about when you travel, what do you do? In Italy, impossible to visit some places during summer. Yeah, I explained yesterday that I went to Venice, or maybe I didn't, I don't know, but we were in Venice October 2020, and not a soul was there. That was when the Italian government only allowed Germans into Italy. So we went, and it was just paradise. You didn't have to book anything in advance, not a restaurant. The Doge Palace was so, like, you could just get in after 15 minutes and nobody was there. There were no lines. We will never go back to Venice because we would be ruined for life. It was so easy. Karina, I like to walk around the city, me too. Visit museums and go to a traditional restaurant to taste the food. Yeah, me too. And I think it's always complicated. Like when we travel a lot, we try to find places that it's not like the tourist version of that food. Like if we go in and we see that the majority of the people are locals, then you know kind of that it's not a tourist trap, a word we had yesterday, and not something that's just there because, yeah, people they're trying to pretend to be something for foreigners. Use public transport. Yeah, that's a great way of being more of an eco-friendly traveler. To use tourism money to maintain environment. What's the little thing that has surprised? What's the thing that has surprised you most in Africa? Whew. Well, in Uganda, it was really interesting because we had a guide with us for 12 days. So he was with us really every single day. We went on safari with him. He took us, we drove with him for 8 hours sometimes. It was really like this intense sort of situation. So every night I would form a list of questions that I had for him because he was cool about that. He wasn't annoyed by my questions. And I would sit up front with him and I'd be like, okay, so what is this? And what is that? And so I learned a lot about how at least people from his tribe, because I think in Uganda they have like 49 different tribes. So it's, generalization here. But in general, like I learned that in Uganda, the men feel very responsible to provide for their families, and the women take care of the kids and more of the traditional role. But what was interesting was he said that if a woman chooses to work, that it was up to her to decide if she wanted to contribute her money to the family or keep it for herself. So the men we met, was about 3 men who told us the same story, and they were all pretty annoyed by it, but it seemed like this was part of the Ugandan culture where women that earned money kept the money for themselves. Their husbands didn't get it. Thought that was interesting. Sounds great. Glad you're having. Yes, it was wonderful. It is wonderful. And we'll see what other adventures we have up our sleeves. I'll try to take you all with me as much as I can. Yeah. I have big ideas, but it's never like, 100% certain that it's going to work. So we have to sort of see. Any other ideas with something that we can do to be more eco-friendly when we travel? I guess maybe like, they have a lot of shampoos and conditioners and things like that, toothpaste that are not, toxic for the environment. In hotels, they ask us not reuse towels all the time, keep them, or to reuse towels, sorry, but to not have to get new fresh ones every single day. That's maybe a way to help out to be more environmentally friendly. I liked Lorena, yours with public transport. They are open-minded, and yeah, I think so. I guess you mean in Uganda. I'm not sure. All right, so let's continue on and see where we're headed, and kind of staying in like, this respect, eco-friendly. How can we be good travelers? Have you seen lions or wild animals on your safari trip? So I did. We saw lots of elephants. Actually, we didn't see lions. We went specifically on the safari because they have mountain lions there they have lions that live in trees. And there were no lions in the trees. They told us a horrible story about how they used to have 5 prides. So a family of lions is called a pride, Pride. Pride of lions. They used to have 5, but some poacher guy came and killed 2 prides, so they only have 3 left. And so, yeah, and it takes a long time for there to be, for the wildlife to replenish again. Use electronic devices instead of paper. Okay. Not to buy things made of animals, perhaps, yes, as well. Is there any water shortage? And so where we were, there wasn't. We were in Uganda. We were in Kampala. and Entebbe, and then we went to the western side, drove straight across and down, and you go into more of a forest area. So we didn't experience any drought at all. There was this one safari area where it was the savannah, and that was much drier, and we were there in the summertime, so it wasn't as green as it usually is, but it was okay, I think. Yeah. Okay, so saw lots of animals. I will try to post some more things. I never know what to post. I don't want to bore people. I don't know. We all know that in Africa, they just kill animals to manufacture stuff for egocentric people with a lot of money. Sorry, but when I talk about this, I get mad a lot. Totally. But they do have a lot of conservation. So Tony, this man in Uganda who killed these lions for rich people in Congo, and like, you know, wanted crazy things because I guess the lion uses its left paw to kill. And so he wanted the left paw because it was a sign of power to him. But this man was caught and he was jailed for a long, long time. So it's not that I think that with a lot of these safari and wildlife programs, they realize that because of tourism, this is one of the benefits actually of tourism, that having the animals around and not poaching the animals is better for the economy, because if they don't have the animals, people are not going to come. So that helps actually to protect them. Biodegradable products, super. And in Cape Town, there's still a water shortage. I've not heard. I don't know, to be quite honest. I'm not sure. We need to look. I need to look into that. I'm not sure. We had, the last time we were here, there was something called load shedding. I'll write it in the comments. And that was where the electricity went out for hours at a time every single day. So you would have like maybe 6 hours where you would have no electricity. You would have internet connection because that's something different, but like your fridge would go out, your lights would go out. So all the things that are connected to electricity didn't work, and they do not have that anymore. So we were very surprised because the first time we came in 2022, there was a threat of it, and we went to one town where they did have it. And then, so we didn't really think it was a big deal. And then when we came in 2023, I believe, 2023, then it was extreme. It was really annoying. It was really, and now they have a new government since I think last year. They have a new government, and there's not that problem anymore. So it shows actually that it was kind of political. So maybe this was a way that the new government got elected. I don't know. So keeping on with this same topic, let's move on to respect. And let me get rid of my little banner here. And curious to hear what you have to say with the, nope, that's culinary. Nope. Respect. Okay. So how can you be a good ambassador for your country when you travel abroad? Okay. So like, for me, as an American living in Germany, I always feel like an ambassador for my country. Like I always feel like if I act like an ugly person, if I'm mean or unkind or rude in any way, it doesn't really reflect nice on people from my country, because you are an ambassador for your country. So there are certain things that maybe one can do to try to be a good ambassador. It was interesting for me being in Uganda. It was the first country that I had ever been to, whereas my race, as a Caucasian person, I was the first person, or it was the first time where for me that really stood out. Like we would walk down the street or drive in the car through villages and people would scream Mzungu, which means white person. So I always also felt like a diplomat or an ambassador for my country, but also for my race in a way, right? So that was a very, very interesting experience. What kinds of things can we do to be good hosts? Hi, Yuki, darling. What is the language there? So in Uganda, they speak a bunch of different languages because they have so many different tribes. This was also something very interesting to learn, Tony, to go back to your point. Interesting things you learned is that during the colonial times, they basically the colonists drew lines on a map in Africa that worked well geographically. Maybe it went to a specific one side of a specific river or to a point on a mountain. But because there were so many tribes there, it blocked off these people that actually, for centuries or millennia, had lived in a different way. So suddenly, people who were family were separated. So I found that really interesting. It's very sad, but interesting to take into consideration. I'm going to listen until I fall asleep. Okay, sweetie. I hope you had a nice time with your guest. I'm sure you've spoiled them rotten. It's nice to have you on board. Yeah, so what kinds of things can we do? I think like one thing that one can do is actually number two is to dress properly. You know, if I go to a Muslim country, I should not wear a mini skirt, right? And things like that. So to kind of be respectful, to maybe understand the customs of the country, things that are acceptable and things that are unacceptable. That would be one way to be a good ambassador for your country. I guess, Lorena, I think you wrote earlier, or maybe that was, I'm not sure who that was, said to be open-minded. I guess being open-minded and to try to not be judgmental, because sometimes we learn things on our trip where you have to kind of say, okay, this is not my reality. This is, you know, this is something that is here, but it's acceptable here, but not acceptable at home. And to just understand and separate those things and to not be judgmental, right? Because everybody has a different way of doing things. So, yeah. So I think that that would be certain ways of being a good ambassador. Anybody else have anything else? Otherwise, we will move to number two. Curious to hear what you have to say. What should tourists consider when dressing respectfully in your culture? So in the culture in the United States, kind of anything goes. I guess it depends on where you go, but yeah. So it's not such a big deal, or there's not a lot of things that you need to take into consideration. I think probably trying to not wear political things would be a good ambassador. So if you support a certain politician, then maybe you don't want to wear products from that politician or merchandise from that politician, because maybe it kind of limits you from getting close to other people, I would say. So respect local habits. Yes. Are you actually a teacher or in any other occupation? I don't know if that question's for Yuki or for me. I am a teacher. I have been a teacher for over 25 years. So yeah. So dressing codes. I think in Italy you have specific things. If you want to go into a church, you have certain things that you should wear, not wear. In Muslim countries, you have the same. In Germany, I'm trying to think. I think you can wear anything. It just can't be something like, they're very sensitive with anything that has to do with World War II. So you couldn't wear something that has like a swastika or something on a t-shirt. That would not fly at all. That would not go over well. That would not fly. Maybe does anybody have anything else they would like to share from their culture, which you should wear as a tourist when you go to visit someplace? It seems like here in Cape Town, it's pretty open as well. In Uganda, I tried to be a little bit more respectful as well. Tried to not wear anything that like showed my shoulders, and tried, nothing with my knees. Just because the women there dress way more conservative. The women there dress so beautifully. These ladies are so pretty. You can't go into a church with shorts or something similar, right? And I heard that like you need to have your shoulders covered if you go into a church. So you can't wear like a little spaghetti top. You have to wear something that is a little bit more covering. Okay. And I think we will end our trip in March, mid to end March in Qatar. So I'm curious what it's going to be like, what I will need to wear as a good ambassador in Qatar. I've read that your knees can't show, your shoulders need to be covered. But if you're not from Qatar, then it's a little bit more flexible. But yes, we will see. And number three, So, is it safe for a woman to travel alone in your country? What would you say? No problem? Maybe not. In Orthodox churches, trousers are forbidden. Wow. Okay, so ladies can't wear trousers. Interesting. Okay. In church, cover your breast and shoulders. Yes. So no your little décolleté here. No, no. Okay. And what about traveling? Like, if a woman wants to travel in your country alone, would they feel safe? Tony, I will be crystal clear. If you go to the U.S. and cannot talk about politics, it means there's something wrong in your society. I say this because the same happens in my country due to the dictatorship. Yes, I agree. And I think what I'm saying with this is that I try to go to a country as neutrally as possible as a tourist, right? And if I were to wear, let's say, just to be honest, a MAGA hat, then I would instantly be identified as one kind of person. And I would only be like, people who are into that would be more open to me, and people who are against that would automatically be against me. So when I go to a country, I want to talk to everyone. I want to be neutral and be able to talk about politics with all kinds of people and be able to get to know them. And sometimes when you wear these very political things, it will put you in a box and you won't be able to really get to know but one side, really. Really. So that's my thing. I think absolutely free speech. You should be able to talk about politics. Unfortunately, I find in my country it's becoming more and more automatically like that, even though we don't yet have a dictatorship. It feels like, you're either one thing or the other. And that's just not how I personally like to live my life. I like to really live my life as neutrally and open as possible and see the good, the bad, and the ugly in everything. In Germany, swastika is not allowed, yes, but in India, swastika with 4 dots in between with every 2 is a sign of great luck. Right, I know, they stole that symbol. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Nowadays, it's not safe, unfortunately. Okay, so in Italy, it's not safe to travel as a woman, for a woman to travel alone. I would definitely say in Germany, you can travel alone. And Yuki, I know you're falling asleep, so I'm going to say in Japan, I was blown away when we were in Japan, and like, you would see women walk alone down dark streets next to construction sites. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it is so safe here. So in Japan, women traveling alone, go for it. It is so safe there. I would not do that in Germany, and I feel very safe in Germany. But in Japan, it's amazing. What about in Tony, in your country, can women travel alone? Abnor, in India, what can you tell me? Is it advisable for women to travel alone? Natalia, what can you tell me in Moldova? And yeah, we will slowly move on to our next question. If you want to answer that, then you're more than welcome to continue with that. In this trip, solo or someone with you? Okay, so it's not a problem then. Hello to you, precious. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Good morning to you. So, could you tell me, precious, I don't remember which country you come from, but is it safe for women to travel alone, for them to be a tourist in your country? What can you tell me? And we will slowly but surely move on to our next banner. I have so much material for us today. I always do, but really a lot today. So let me get rid of the slide here so it's a little less cluttered. If you could fully immerse yourself in any culture for 6 months, learning the language, excuse me, learning the language, traditions, and daily life, which one would you choose? So you get to move to one place for 6 months. Don't think about all the obstacles, family, job, blah, blah, blah. But which culture would you love to just sink yourself into? In Italy, it's not safe for a woman using public transport late at night. I feel the same way in Germany. My daughter loves to take late trains to come and visit me. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying for that because I want you to be safe. Yeah, we'd love to visit Italy one day, India one day, and Italy. So if you could fully immerse yourself in any culture for 6 months, learning the language, learning the traditions. You have a home, you live there for 6 months, you go grocery shopping every day, all of your errands that you do normally at home, you live your life there. Where would you choose, and maybe why? For me, I don't know. I'm itching actually to like live for 6 months in a place where I don't speak the language and the majority of the people don't speak the language. I think it would make me a better English teacher and a better person somehow, because you have to really work around things. I think it would be very cool to live in like Vietnam for 6 months or something like that. Yes, in Moldova, it's safe to travel alone, but more people prefer to do it in groups. It's more interesting traveling together. Okay, thank you for sharing, sweetie. So anybody want to answer our third banner point here? Country you would love to live in for 6 months. America's safer for women to travel alone. Yeah, I don't know if I would do it. So I would to big cities, yes, but like road trip, I don't think I would do in America alone. I would choose Japan or China. Okay. I would go to the UK. I love their accent. Okay. Australia or Thailand. So 6 months there. Both warm places, I guess. That's nice. Okay. So let's see. Let's move on to our next point. And we have a little brainstorming session. So let me get rid of this. All right. And I think I'm at 50%. I'm going to try to pull this over here so I don't have to. Yeah. Hello. Good posture now. So let's see. Let's brainstorm. What are some popular culinary tourism destinations that interest you? So what that means is like culinary, let me write the word, deals with food. Yeah, like with cooking and food, culinary. When a chef goes to culinary school, so a man or a woman who cooks really well is a chef, and they go to culinary school in order to learn how to cook properly. So yeah, what kinds of culinary places interest you? We have a wide variety of food around the planet. Which sort of areas interest you? And I have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 places. So to add to our list. So 6 months in Japan for me. Yeah, I think I would love to live in Japan as well. I would really love that. Australia for the lifestyle. Okay, gotcha. I live in a touristic country. Woman or man, as everywhere in the world, you need to take care. Sure. Come to Nicaragua and I teach you Spanish. Okay, sounds good. Japan is an interesting country to know. Japan. So lots of people are voting for Japan. So Japan is high on the list for many people. Japan, I guess, Lorena, for you for culinary options. I have on my list, of course, Japan, Tokyo, Japan, home to sushi, ramen, tempura, and unique street food offerings and neighborhoods like Shibuya and Tsukuji Market. I don't think we went there. I have to go back to Tokyo. So I also have, of course, Italy. Come on, Italian food. There's nothing better. So we have Bologna, Italy, known as the food capital of Italy, famous for its rich ragu, the bolognese sauce, and traditional pasta like tortellini. So on our trip that we took in 2020, during COVID time, we went to Bologna. I love that city. So cool. Lots of charm, and the food was amazing. This sounds like my topic. You just woke me up. Yay! I'll guest with Yuki. Yeah, Yuki, I hope you have a big home. A lot of people want to come to Japan for 6 months. So let's see. Other places that were on the list, of course, France, Paris, France would be a great place to do a little culinary tourism. Known for pastries and fine cheeses, wines, and classic French dishes like coq au vin. Another place that a lot of people go to for food is Bangkok in Thailand. They have a vibrant food scene with famous street food like pad thai, green curry, and mango sticky rice. Another one on our list, heading back to Europe, we have Barcelona. famous for tapas, paella, although I think paella is actually a dish from Valencia. Seafood and traditional Catalan dishes like crema catalana. Heading to South America, we have Lima, which I learned recently that Lima has like the most Michelin star restaurants, I think, in the world. It's got a lot of very fine dining. I'm not really into fine dining. I like good food in a nice location that has heart and soul, but like fine dining with 8 courses, it's too much for me. I can't remember it. You leave there and you don't feel very good afterwards. So I'd rather have like nice, normal, grounded sort of restaurants than fine dining. But anyway, recognized for its fusion food, native ingredients, and international influences, with ceviche being a standout dish. Mexico City, hotspot for tacos, tamales, and traditional Mexican dishes. Istanbul as well is on the list. It has a lot of crossroads of different cultures, so like a mixing of different cultures. And so offering diverse dishes like kebabs, baklava, and mesa. Mesa, like the little, where you can order like the hummus and there's a green salad, I don't remember the name, but lots of different things. Marrakesh is on the list as well. Known for tagines, couscous street food, and New Orleans for Creolean food. I'm hungry now. I don't know about y'all. So culinary. Peru is one of the countries with the most delicious food in the world. Ceviche. You're on the list, darling. You're on the list. Lomo salata. What is lomo salato? Salatada. Solotado. Saltado. Papa alla. Ooh. Pronunciation? I don't know. Food, all food is amazing. Yes, I would love to try Peruvian food. Spain and Greece are good for culinary experiences, all the Mediterranean cuisines. Of course, we win as the best food in the world with Central, with Virgilio Martinez, the chef. I don't know that. Have you been to that restaurant? Is that one of these fancy restaurants, Karina? Tell us if you have. Yeah, I'd say Turkey. We are people with different origins. We are rich in culture, cooking, and so on. Precious dear, I don't remember where you come from. Where can you tell me where you come from? I can't remember where. So we know which country. And it's nice when you have a country where there's a lot of mix of different influences. I think, like, for example, in the UK, it used to be infamous for having horrible food, but now they have so many people from different places. Their food is really cool because they have a lot of fusion food where you take this from here and that ingredient from there and this from there and there, whip it all together, and voila, you have something totally new. So fusion food, I will write that if I can. That will allow me a fusion food. Okay. So moving on. Thank you everyone for getting so into the food element there. We're sticking with food actually for just a little bit longer. We have one more slide with food and then we will move on. So how important is food and cuisine when you plan your travel itinerary? Is it important? Is it not important? Do you look for restaurants in advance, or do you get to the location and you then do research? Do you want to try local dishes? Is that important to you? Or do you stick maybe to things you know? Maybe your palate is a little bit more smaller. Oh, Guadeloupe, a French. Yes. Okay, we had this before. Yes. And I think I'm mispronouncing it again. Hold on. Let me help me out here. A French Caribbean island in the West Indies. Thank you, dear. Hold on. Sorry, I totally forgot. And then I've also forgotten how to pronounce it again. Let me just make sure that I'm doing it. Thanks to globalization. A good thing, right? With globalization. Do you try street food? I do. I'm not, it depends, where it is. Not all street food is the same. When I see, like we went to in in Cape Town, they have a market that's really chicy and very chic and fine, and everything is beautiful. And it's called Iranian Sikh Market. And so you can go there and you know the food is safe, you know everything is okay. And it's pretty mainstream. They'll have international things, but it's kind of all fancy and expensive. And then they have another market called Neighborhoods Market. And there you have dishes from all around the world, but you know it's very local. You know it's not very like trying to be something fancy. And so last time we were here, or the first time that we came here in 2022, I tried a dish, I think it was Tanzanian, I don't know. And I had a bad stomach for 10 days. So I was, when I see at these kinds of places that the food is already made and has been sitting there a while, then I try to be smart about it. I try to, like, Peter was like, oh, I'm going to go for that. I'm like, darling, it's been sitting there. You see that. Don't do it. Don't do it. So he ended up going for something where they cooked it fresh. So it was, not something that was maybe going to give you problems, because that's no fun when you travel and your stomach gets all wound up. Very important to me. Yes, Yuki, I know. I think it's important, especially to try to find good locations and eat tasty food. Hello to you. I think, Terry, that's you. I think. For me, yes, because I'm a man, but for my wife, food is not so important. Okay. And I need to just Google really quickly, Precious, my dear, how to pronounce again. And I probably will do this the next time you come here. So please do not hate me for this, but I am really not good with these things. Pronunciation. It will take me like 6 times and then I will get it. Indian street food. Yes, or even like Thai street food. If it's sitting there for hours, don't eat it, right? I mean, just avoid it. Why go for that? Yes, Terry, I thought, okay, good. See, like, how many times have I had to ask you, but now I know. So let's see. Guadeloupe. Okay, Guadeloupe. It's that easy. Thank you, Precious. Precious to you and Guadeloupe. Oh, wait, hold on. Guadeloupe. All right, moving on. Have you ever taken a cooking class while traveling? If so, what was the experience like? So what can you tell me? Have you ever been on vacation and done sort of like a tourist culinary class? Sometimes when you go to hotels, they will offer that, where you can participate in a course. When my son graduated from high school, then I took him to Lisbon for a weekend, and we did a cooking course together to cook Portuguese food. And so we were the only mother and son team. It was a lot of fun. I am terrified of being sick due to new food when I'm traveling. Yeah, I get that, especially because I experienced it myself for 10 days. It was not a pretty thing. So I'm very respectful. I want to be open and try new things, but I want to be smart about it. If it's street food that's been sitting there for hours, if it's street food that maybe is being cooked and you eat it fresh, yes. So that's how I try to wage my bets and to eat things in a smart way. I know I'm wrong, but I tend to look for Italian restaurants when I travel abroad. Unfortunately, I'm not very flexible about eating, for a mentality, not for health problems. Yeah, and I don't think everybody has to be super open to new food. And it's actually, I think, interesting to try different countries' take on your local food. Right? So as an Italian, to try Italian food in China, or to try Italian food in South America, in a South American country, it's interesting because it's going to taste different. It's going to have its own sort of, vibe to it. Thank you, Precious, for your understanding. Guadeloupe. All right, so let's see. Do you prefer trying street food or dining at higher end restaurants when exploring a new place? So higher end places, sort of Michelin star places, a combination of it. I know people who love trying Michelin star restaurants, really expensive restaurants, all around the world. And I know people who are just, let's just do street food. So maybe there's even a combination. Karina, I know you come from a country with lots of amazing restaurants. If you come to Peru, you have to visit Francesco Central, Isolina and Astrid. Amazing food. A lot of people just come and have a gastronomic experience. Yes, I think so. I think a lot of people come there just for the food. So you have a paradise for food there. I wanted to take a cooking class in Bangkok, but the class was very expensive and I couldn't afford it. Okay, I find very interesting exploring supermarkets when I'm abroad to see what they eat. Right? I love it. It's the best. For me, like talking to locals, going to a supermarket, it gives you such an insight into what is important, what they have, things that people eat on a daily basis. And I have to say, as an American, it's always shocking when I go back to the United States and I see how many aisles. So when you go to a supermarket and you have all the food on the shelf and the space in between the shelf is the aisle, I'll write it. And they have aisles and aisles of junk food. Oh, I don't know what just happened. Hold on. Let me just flip this. Sometimes does something weird. Please let me know if you can still see me because I don't know if this gets weird. Street food is so much more fun. I think it's fun. I think it's sometimes fun to do the fancy thing, but not like 1,000 courses. And 9 out of 10 times, I don't really remember the fancy things. We have a restaurant here in Cape Town that I hope we will go back to. We've been to it twice and we've only been here since Tuesday. I love this restaurant. So I hope I can go back and I will share that with y'all. If it's not too embarrassing to share like a restaurant thingy, but I love this restaurant. The food is amazing. It's run by 2 twin sisters and the dishes, the atmosphere, it's everything I like in a restaurant. And not super expensive, but still nice, That's what I like. And also I think another really cool thing when you travel and you speak English, we always try, or maybe if you speak the local language, it's wonderful to go to comedy clubs because you get a real insight about what's going on into sort of the local community. So when we're in London, we always go to a comedy club. When we're in New York, when we're in San Francisco, we always try to go to a comedy club because you always get these little sort of insider sort of inside jokes and sort of get a feel for the political scene that's going on in a really kind of nice and subtle way. You can understand a lot about the habits. Totally, right? Priorities, habits. When I was in China, I asked one guy to describe dishes before I tried. So I tried to cook their noodles. So Terry, you asked them, so you didn't ask them because you were scared of what it was. You actually asked them because you wanted to cook it at home. Do I understand that correctly? I have the secret of a good food. It's the love with people cook and the ingredients, of course. Yes. So yeah, definitely. My love language is not cooking. I like to bake, but my love language is not everyday cooking. Thank goodness Peter's is. So he makes all these amazing things for us to eat. But yeah, it has to be something that's within. You do taste that, I think, when somebody makes something from their heart and not just because, okay, it's Wednesday night and we need to eat dinner. So let's see. Let me find our next point here. And yeah, we're going to move on to volunteering as a tourist. So we're moving away from our food. And let's see. And I have this as a poll. Here we go. Okay. So as a tourist, which volunteer activity would you prefer to do while traveling? So which of these sounds the most interesting? So to help build homes, teach children, or work in wildlife conservation. So conservation, then you make sure that things don't, that you try to maintain the health and the good that's going on with something to keep it fine. So which one would you want to do? I think it would actually be kind of fun. I mean, I love teaching kids, don't get me wrong, but I think I would love to build homes. There's in the States, we have an organization called Habitat for humanity. And so habitat, a home, and then for humans, for humanity, for all the humans. And I think it would be so cool to have like a work trip where you build homes. Hi, Sridev, dear. Hello, Renit. Didn't know you were here as well. Welcome, welcome. So Precious, I want to go to London. I think it was important when I went to London, it was important for me to eat the famous fish and chips, right? You have to try the local cuisine. So, as a volunteer, this is when you do something and you don't expect money for it. You do it for free to help build homes. Okay, so Alessia will be on the building homes project. Teach children. Okay, what else have we got? Sridev, what would you want to do? And Renee, you would like to do all of them. Build homes, teach children, and work in wildlife conservation. I also had this thing for a while where there's this type of farming, and I'll write it for you, called permaculture. And I love this type of farming. It's so cool where they take a look, because like if you look in this forest here, right, it's not just one kind of tree, it's multiple trees, and the forest just knows what to do to make things grow. So a tree will grow and something else will grow next to it that protects it. So then something else will grow that won't attack that tree. And they look at nature with permaculture, and they try to grow farms sort of forest style. It's like the antithesis of the straight lines and the plowing the field. It's all planting things that work together and live in harmony. And I was super into this for a while, probably 12 years ago. And I thought it'd be so fun to have like a vacation where you donate your time and you work on a farm, on a permaculture farm. Build homes, but I know wouldn't be good at it. Yeah, me neither. I think I would hit my fingers more than the nail. The environment looks so peaceful over there. Yes, it's very peaceful here. In the city, not so much, but here, yes. All right, let's boogie on to our next question. And let's see. So we have volunteer tourism. Let me see if I have that actually as a slide. I don't think I do. So just as a question to kind of round out this question, has anybody ever done anything like this? Have you ever donated your time to work in some sort of volunteer activity, building homes, working on a farm, teaching children? Has anyone ever had this as an experience? So Terry, maybe to build homes, but I was in Turkey. I was a sports coach for children from Ukraine. Ukraine is my country. Okay. All right, Terry. Tony, I know you want to speak the local languages, but we want to practice English if we come across an English native speaker. Yes. Okay. So Mohammed, you have volunteered your time. What did you do? Don't just say yes. I want to know what you did. B is the only activity I would be able to do to teach children. Okay. For me, it depends on my patience on it. Kidding. All right, let's move on to city breaks and see what we have there. Okay, so city break. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a city break compared to longer vacations? What do you say? What do you think? City break, long vacation, what are the good things? What are the bad things with a city break compared to longer vacations? Are you the rent place where you're at? Yes, this is an Airbnb. Yes, so we're renting this place. Exactly. So some things that you can think of when it comes to a city break and a long vacation. I think, city breaks, sometimes a city break feels like a long vacation. Have you ever gone on a city break or like a weekend break and it feels like the time is double what it actually was? And sometimes when I'm on a longer vacation, the time, I don't know, it's somehow you start to like the appreciation gets lessened somehow because it's just like, oh, there's another day and another day and another day. So sometimes these short and very intense vacations can feel more like a vacation than a long vacation, I think. So, curious to hear what you have to say. We'll slowly move on to number 2. What factors make a city attractive for tourists? So, what sort of elements make a city interesting for you as a tourist? What can you tell me? So, I record my voice to make an audiobook for blind people to help them get a bachelor's degree. Oh, Mojave, that's lovely. That's wonderful. Ah, that's so nice. So do you still do that? That's so nice of you. Ah, that's very cool. So things that make a city attractive because you tend to do so many more activities and optimize your trip. Yeah. So maybe you don't have. I don't know what that is. Not a pigeon. Yeah, so you tend to do a lot. You stuff everything in. There's not a lot of time to just chill. So sometimes you do need a vacation after these vacations, right? Because it's a little intense. I may not be able to recover the energy in a city break, just like what I was saying here, definitely. And what about things in it that make a city attractive for you? For me, I love cities that have a lot of art. We are in Cape Town right now, and starting tomorrow, they have a huge art fair here, and I'm really excited about it. So the art here is so incredible. I will try to share some of the art that I've come across as well, maybe like my 5 favorite paintings or something, or artworks. I don't know. I'm not sure. This guy, he's just a talker. I don't know. I think like for him, it's like having this balance of lots of trees in his city and not. I prefer a long vacation anyhow to rest. Will you go? Will you go pay the rent with money or collab with them? Nah, money. I'm too small. Nobody wants to collab with me. Not in that capacity. I have never had a longer vacation. I have traveled from one place to another. I tend to prefer that, I have to say. I get bored easily, so I like these sort of intense move. Yeah, personally. For me, also good infrastructure. If you go to a city and you can hop on a bus or hop on a metro or something like that, and then that, or take an Uber or something, then it's so nice to be able to get to places without having to worry. So good and cheap and reliable is important. My son, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's saying. Maybe there should be an app with bird interpretations. I know there's like an app or there's something now where they're trying to decipher what, like, do dog talk. I don't know if you saw these videos, but I always get suggested dogs and stuff like that. I love dogs. But yeah, so maybe, I don't know, maybe he's trying to join our lesson and give his 2 cents. But unfortunately, we will just have to decide what he has said. Most Japanese vacation is very short. Okay. Japanese system doesn't allow us to take a long vacation, 1 week at the most generally. Okay. I did it when I was in college. We used to go to the poor place where we taught some elementary stuff, where we taught, TAUGHT, some elementary stuff to some children. That's nice. So, Tony, in Nicaragua, is that something that everyone does? Is that part of like a social program? Or is that something you specifically did when you were in college because you felt that it was important? Curious about that. Because I think that actually like a year of social service should be mandatory for everyone. I think so. Like every 18-year-old should have to do some sort of public service. And then I think education should be cheap or free. I don't know. But I think it's so good for young kids to learn to give back, and it would be a great thing. What is crying behind you? I don't know. I don't know birds. So I'm going to say it's a pigeon, but it's not a pigeon. I'm sure it's not a pigeon. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see him anywhere. I can't see him. I don't know. He's gone now. He's said what he had to say, and he's moved on to go and scream at other people. All right. Any other things that you can think of that makes a city attractive? So the time is 5:55. I don't feel like I look fresh, but thank you. Planning a short trip is often simpler and less stressful. That's true. That's a very good point as well. Security, cheap prices, and traffic jam. Yeah, security is a big thing, right? Like how safe it is. Like we're in Cape Town now, and it doesn't feel very safe because it's not very safe. You have to constantly be looking and seeing what's going on. We had a friend that somebody tried to grab her phone from her car. When another person that we met, he had a gun put to his head just last week, and his phone was stolen. So we're in a city where it's really beautiful. It's a lot of nice people, great food, great art, really cool. You can get around pretty easily with Ubers and things like that. But I don't feel safe here. So I don't, it's not a good feeling, especially when you live in a country like Germany where you feel really safe all the time, to be in a place that feels unsafe. Planning, yep. So security, cheap prices, or prices. Yeah. So when you have a good exchange, I'm going to do a reel this week, I think, with exchange rates. So look for that. What are some of the off the beaten path experiences in your city? Can you think of something that's a little bit sort of, not every tourist does it, but they should. It's kind of a cool thing to do. If I want to visit Europe for the first, which country would you prefer me to visit? Oh, I think that really depends. Europe is so varied. I think it depends on what interests you the most. I wouldn't be able to say that. So if you come to Hamburg, let's say, then we have a market called Isastrasse Markt. And this is underneath a bridge. It reminds me of, we don't have any of our French friends here today, I think, but it reminds me of a market that they have in Paris under the bridge. It's a famous one. I don't remember the name, but it's such a great market. I love this market. We go there usually once a week. But it's a nice thing, again, because you see the food that's there, you see what's important, you see prices. I think a lot of people who come to Germany are always surprised how cheap flowers are, for example. So it's nice to have fresh flowers in the house because it's not expensive. So I think these are things that are kind of interesting that as a tourist to sort of experience what's expensive, what's not expensive, and stuff. I was in a live stream yesterday with Mike, and I guess fruit in Korea is very expensive. Yeah, I don't know. Let's head on to our next point here, and let's see. If you are following, if you're here right now, we've got 18 folks here with us right now, and you don't know my account, I am here every Wednesday. Look at this little advertising. So English Widget 123. This is my account here on YouTube. I am here at least twice a week with live streams, offering you great, I think, English content to boost your level of English. So tell your friends that we're here. It's a small group, but yeah, the right people. So let's see. Let me get rid of that and see what you have to say. Are you vegan? No, I'm not vegan. Let's see. Let's pull up our next banner. And banner number 4. This is our last banner of the day. And let me get rid of our slides so it's a little tidier. How has tourism changed over the past few decades? So what would you say? Like, how has it changed? I think it's changed a lot. But in which ways would you say that it has changed? A very important factor to make a country attractive is the place where they can visit. Machu Picchu in Cusco, I think is how you say that, is one of the wonderful experiences a person can live. It is so amazing to be there. Yeah, I've heard that the energy there is really interesting. In Como, tourists usually go on a boat trip to Bellagio, Varenna, and other villages along the lake. So yeah, why are you not vegan? Because I'm not. It was a social program created by my university, but it no longer exists because many things happened in my country. Actually, my university was stolen by. I don't like this about this. Okay, sorry to hear that, but it sounds like it was a lovely program. It sounds like it was a really meaningful program, and I'm happy you were able to experience that. I really do think that young people should have that, especially nowadays, where so many young people like, I know this is myself as a parent, they have very few responsibilities, and so to be able to know what that different people have different things going on, I think it's important to give back and to learn empathy and understanding for different opinions and different people. And okay, I'm going to screw this up. I'm sorry, Michaela. In Firenze, I think, there's the oldest and most opulent pharmacy in the world, Santa Maria Novella Pharmacy. And for me, we were in Ravenna on our trip. Loved Ravenna. For me, Ravenna was so beautiful. Yeah, that for me is a kind of a hidden gem. You know, everybody goes to Venice, everybody goes to Milan or Rome, but not as many people, I think, go to Ravenna. And the buildings there are so incredible. And for me, they remind me of these rocks that then you hammer, and inside there's jewels. And I loved it there. It was so great. It really feels bad to hear that you're not a vegan. I'm sorry, but to each his own. This is how our community is here. I would suggest Bologna, Florence. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Alessio. Okay, so yes. So it's okay that I don't know how to pronounce that because it's Florence in English. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So how has tourism changed, would you say? What would you say? Has it gotten, I find that things are much fuller. There are way more people who travel. I think with budget airlines, with Airbnb, with couch surfing, it makes it way more accessible for people to travel. And so more people do. So I think that's a nice thing. Whereas before, maybe in the past, like I think in the 60s and the 70s, to fly on an airplane, that's only something that rich people did. Right? You know, they had their fine china and everything was very luxurious and the men and women dressed up. And so, you know, that has changed. Now you buy your own food, you bring your own stuff, and you book a flight for 10 euros. Sometimes you can book flights where it's cheaper to actually go from Frankfurt to Barcelona than it is to drive from my area, like to drive 30 kilometers. It's crazy. So I think that it has changed a lot. It has become way more accessible to way more people. There's a lot of tourism nowadays, and it is very easy to find info about a country. That's another thing with social media and stuff, totally. A country you would want to visit, many people tend to book their trip independent from travel agencies. That's true. So no more travel agencies, or not as much. And information is accessible everywhere, and flights and transportation are cheaper. And you had another point, I think. Yeah. And people do it on their own. I loved Italy, people and the food, amazing as a city. I visited Florence, Rome, Venice, and I enjoyed each wonderful place there. When were you in Italy, Karina? When was that? Okay, let's move on. All right, let's see. Number 6. Moving on to planning a trip. Okay, so what are the benefits of traveling during peak season and off-peak season? So peak season and off-peak season, you will also hear high season and low season. High season, low season tends to be a little bit more British, and off-peak season and peak season seem to be a little bit more American. But either or, say what you like, no worries here. So what are the benefits of traveling in these two different times? What can you tell me? Yeah, what can you tell me? We experience this a lot when we go to Ibiza, because sometimes we're there during peak season. We try not to be because it's so maddening. So one of the things that's not nice during the peak season is that reservations for restaurants and everything is crowded. So it's really hard to get a table, and the staff is, the waiters and waitresses, they're over it. They've seen too many tourists, and it's just annoying. So that's something that's not so great when it's peak season. And off-peak season, people are friendlier. It's an island, so it's more of an island energy then. where they take their time and it's easygoing and it's not such a drama. Off-season costs less. That's a good point too. Absolutely. Low-cost airlines has made air travel more affordable. Definitely great sentence. I prefer to travel not in peak season because it is more crowded and expensive. Right. So the second your kids get out of school and you can travel off peak season, it's like the best, right? Like to have to travel during peak season because your kids are in school, it's the worst, right? Yeah, I hear you. I think one negative thing with off-peak season is that things are closed, you know? So not everything is open. Maybe you don't get all the shops or you don't get the like all the sort of energy and stuff going on because during peak season, everything is open and off-peak season, things are closed more. That would be one negative, I would say. Benefits of high season if you have too much money and you don't know how to spend it. Okay. More activities going on during peak season. Exactly. That's what I mean, Yuki. Exactly. Same, same. All right. Let's move on to number 2. Do you prefer tourism package? Do you prefer tourism package tours or do you prefer to plan your own vacations and why? So do you prefer to travel or maybe even a mix? So I think in our case right now, we're kind of doing a mix, like because to organize Uganda, you need a travel agent, right? You need somebody to organize a driver. You need somebody to organize the locations. We saw gorillas. We went hiking with gorillas or trekking with to find gorillas. And, that's not something you can do so easily on your own. There's only specific spots and you have to book a spot and it's very complicated. But like here, we're doing everything on our own, no problem. But yeah, so our trip right now is kind of a mix because I think the more complicated it gets with, flying times and being picked up and organizing different activities, then sometimes it's good to have a travel agent. Off season is more affordable for sure. I visited Italy in 2018. 2018 was a big time. I remember the date because my daughter broke up with her boyfriend and it was a travel for my marriage anniversary. So it was for your anniversary. Okay, so she broke up with her boyfriend. Oh, okay. Let's see. So maybe the cities suffer less from peak and off-peak season as places remain open all year long. That's true. Yeah, maybe it's sometimes because I've also noticed something like with Ibiza, it used to only be popular in the summer, but every year it feels like more and more places are staying open year round, and it's becoming a little bit more like Mallorca. So Mallorca is an island in Spain, for those of you who don't know, where a lot of people in Europe, a lot of Germans and British go. And so because they go all year, because the weather's pretty nice, then many things are open all year. It's not as busy. It's still off season, but off peak season, but still, yeah. And Ibiza is becoming a little bit like that as well. All right, so let's see. Number 3, is it better to go to popular tourist destinations or lesser known tourist destinations? Why? So what would you say? Is it better to go to popular places like, let's say, Venice and Paris, or Venice, Paris, I don't know, Stockholm? Or is it more interesting to go to places somewhere in Uganda or like Ravenna or something like that? For me, Ravenna is a little off the beaten path just because not many people I know have been both. Okay, yeah, I hear you. Mohammed. Definitely. Kind of both. I get it. But if I had to pick, I think I would do more off the beaten path. If I had to pick, I just like places that are just, I don't know, I feel like it broadens your horizons more somehow. Menorca is very different from Ibiza and Mallorca because there aren't any flights from Italy in June. And we have a lot of Italians go to Formentera. Formentera is a very Italian Spanish island. I'm always surprised. So yeah, Menorca from Ibiza and Mallorca. But sometimes from Milan to Ibiza, it's so cheap. So anyway, So we have people saying both, and if you want to continue answering that, no problem. I'm going to continue on. We still have, let's see, just to kind of keep us on track here. 1, 2, 3, 4 more things, okay? Yes, Formentera is very cool. The water there, it's like being in the Caribbean. It's so amazing. Okay, actually we have more than that. All right, so let's get rid of this and move on to our next slide. I hope everybody's hanging in there okay. Poll, we'll do this kind of quickly. What is your travel style? Is it A, backpacking on a budget, B, luxury all the way, C, off the beaten path explorer, or D, resort and relaxation? It can be a combination, of course. You know I'm not a dictator here. So which is your sort of, main styles for travel? I prefer to go to popular places because they are more safe. I hear you. Okay, that's a good point. Mine, definitely not backpacking on a budget. Nope, A is not for me. Luxury all the way. Okay, I could do luxury. I wouldn't say no to luxury. Off the beaten path explorer, definitely C. So I'm in resort and relaxation, no way. I would go crazy. So I'm definitely a combination of B and C, I would say. So Mohammed is C, off the beaten path explorer. Okay. Anybody else want to answer what kind of traveler you are? What's your travel style? As you can see, you can be a combination of these things, or maybe you can even tell me why you're not one thing. You can practice the English in the way that you choose. I think my favorite one is C. Okay, off the beaten path. All right. B and C as well. I'm not going to say no to luxury. If it's offered to me, yes. And it's okay. I will do it. I will suffer for you in a great hotel. But I'm totally fine with off the beaten path as well. Doesn't have to be luxury. Okay. So then let's move on because we still have a lot to cover here. We're going to talk about now heritage tourism, touring spots that have a lot of history to them. And let's see, moving on. Oops, wrong one. Okay. So these are very hard to read. I'm sorry about that. I need to lower the light in the background. So what historical site is at the top of your travel bucket list? So if you could go anywhere, historical site, we're thinking like, Stonehenge or maybe the pyramids. I guess, is that a historical site? For me, I would love to go to, I'm going to mispronounce it and sound foolish, Gebeli Tepe in Turkey. In Turkey, and I have to Google it, but it's where they found where they think that civilization first started agriculture. I would love to go there. So, but I can never remember how to pronounce it. No. I think that's actually in Iran. So in Turkey, the place for agriculture. Where would you want to go? So any kind of cultural place. No. It's giving me key crops. No, ancient, old, first. Okay, so let's see what you have to say. So Petra, yeah, Cairo and Great Wall of China. Me too. Learn from me. We did not realize how big Petra was, and we were only there for a couple of hours. You can actually spend like a day or two there. It's huge. It's like, I just thought it was this one facade. So you probably know this. We're dumb. We didn't realize this. But it's huge. You can spend a day or so there and you can hike, and there's so much to see and so much to learn. So we were really disappointed that we didn't have enough time to see Petra properly. B possibly. Oh, I think that was traveling style. It's just coming in now. What was that? I don't remember what B was. Let me see. Let me see what B was. Let me go back. B is luxury all the way. All right, little luxury lady. All right. So let's see. Let's see. So I'm trying to find the name of this place. Dang it. I mean the place. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If I find it later on, then I will write it in the comments. Let's see. Number 2. What would you rather explore, an ancient ruin or a medieval castle? So what do you think? Something that's like in ruins or something that's preserved? So like a castle where you can actually go in, or do you want it to be more in ruins where it's destroyed and it's no longer intact and you can kind of use your imagination, or do you like it when it's all sort of fixed for you and you can see what is there? And what can you tell me? And let me see where we're heading to next. My historical site is the Roman Colosseum. Okay. And did you get to see that? Ancient ruins. Yeah, I think, yeah. Sometimes I feel like when you go to these castles and stuff, it feels a little like Disneyland. You know, like they're trying to make it look like how it would today. And I don't know how much of that is trying to make things so that we can feel what it was like because we from our own reality, or or whether it's authentic and historically correct. Like Roman ruins or Greek ruins. Yes. When we were in Myanmar, there was an area called I'm drawing a blank, Bagan, and they have these pagoda things, and so they're like these temples, and you could just like Indiana Jones hop on a motorbike, and then like go and see all of these different ones where there weren't tourists. It was so much fun. It was really like being an explorer, an archaeologist, or something like that. And I'm sure nowadays they have them fenced off, which is the proper thing. But when we went in 2017, you could still just go and explore lots of them on your own. I would like to explore a medieval castle. Cambodia is very nice. Oh, I'd like to go to Cambodia. Yes, I'm sure that's really nice. And historical, definitely. Okay, so let's see. And last one, if you could witness one historical event in person, which would it be? Can you think of a historical event that you would like to witness in person? Dracula Castle in Romania. Ooh, that would be fun. Totally, Natalia. I like that. So what can you tell me? If you could witness one historical event in history, what would it be? What would I want to witness? I guess as a tourist. You somehow stumble across this. You're a time traveling tourist. So yeah, what would it be? There's so many things, right? I can't think of one thing specifically right now. Maybe you have something that you would like to add. Unfortunately, I do not have anything in mind. And if nobody else has anything in mind, then we will hop on to our next point. And I have a little question for you. So if you want to answer number 3, time travel as a tourist to any major event or historical event, what would you like to see? Please feel free to answer that question. I will move on to my next point. So let's see. All right. So question for you is such. I have 5 countries here, and these 5 countries rely heavily on tourism. So these are countries that feel that where tourism is very, very important for their economy. Which countries do you think that they are? I have 5 here, and let's see if you come up with all of them. I would like to witness the visit of an ovni. An ovni? What is that? I don't know what that is. Let me Google that. Or maybe you can tell me. Okay. So we have 5 countries that rely a lot on tourism. Which 5 countries do you think that those are? UFO. I think that's a new word for UFO. Thank you. I'm not so aware of that. Okay, so you would like to witness that. Maybe a historical one would be the Roswell one, in Area 51. The Holocaust. Oof. Okay, that would be a tough one. So you're saying Maldives. Let's get a nice little list going, and then I'll let you know. So Lorena's going with Maldives. Let's see what else we've got. Let's see. see, the Maldives. Anybody else? 5 countries that rely a lot on tourism. So I feel really bad for these countries that they experienced COVID. They must have struggled a lot, because if you're reliant on just tourism and something as unnatural as that happens, then that could be very detrimental to your country. I don't appreciate ruins because my ability of imagination is very limited. Okay. You like to have it, set up. I get it. All right. Any other countries? We have Maldives, which is definitely on the list. Maldives tourism, it's number 1 on our list here, and it is tourism makes up around 30% of their GDP, gross domestic product. Known for luxury resorts, crystal clear waters, and coral reefs, the Maldives economy is deeply tied to international visitors. What do you think is number 2? We've got 4 more to go. Also an island. What can you tell me? I'm not sure if our comments are coming in so fast. I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of lag. Maybe you can tell me if it takes a second for you to be able to see your comment here. Okay, I'll tell you number 2. Number 2 is the Seychelles. About 26% of their GDP comes from tourism. This island paradise is in the Indian Ocean, thrives on beach tourism, diving, and ecotourism. Now, this is one I would not have known. Zanzibar, okay, good guess. I'm sure it relies heavily on tourism. It didn't make my list here from ChatGPT with the top 5. Maybe it's number 6. I don't know. Any other guesses coming in? Otherwise, I will give you one, which, yeah, I'm very surprised. I never would have guessed this. This is in Asia. In Asia. That's your hint. Number 3. So number 1 was Maldives. Number 2 is Seychelles. Fiji also won, yes, but not on the top 5. I don't know why Maldives was number 1, because this one has even more of it. Hawaii, good guess, good guess. But we're heading to Asia, Thailand. Thailand is number 5. Thailand tourism accounts for about 18 to 20% of GDP. Famous for its beaches, temples, food, and nightlife, Thailand is a major tourism powerhouse in Southeast Asia. So number 3, this one totally surprises me. Macau in China. Tourism and gaming make up around 50% of GDP. Known as the gambling capital of the world, Macau's economy is heavily reliant on tourism. So 50% of Macau's GDP relies on gambling tourism. Thailand, exactly. Thailand is number 5. Number 4 is the Bahamas. Tourism contributes roughly 20% of GDP. The country's beautiful beaches, cruises, and resorts draw millions of visitors each year. But you have all mentioned wonderful places: Aruba, Hawaii, Fiji, Zanzibar. I'm sure that these are on the list too. This is just what the bot gave me. So we can go with all of these actually. But I think it's interesting to think about that because, when countries heavily rely on tourism, then it makes it very important to understand what happens when things with COVID or with things where there's natural disasters or something along those lines. Bahamas is amazing. Yes, definitely. Is Bermuda in the Bahamas? I'm not sure. I've been to Bermuda. It's technically in the middle of nothing. But yeah. So let's see. We're moving on to our last slide in keeping with economy and tourism to just round out this lesson. Let's see. So we've got, what percentage of earnings do you spend on travel each year, and where will you go next? Okay. So do you spend 50% of your money on travel? Do you spend 10%, 0%? What would you say that you spend on travel each year, or maybe last year? Maybe it depends on your bonus or what's going on with work or family. But around what percentage would you say that you spend on tourism? What can you tell me? And where will you go next? So, what can you tell me? What percentage? I spend 0%, 0%, because I don't make money. But yeah, if I had money, I probably would spend 30%, 20%, 20%. I think that sounds kind of healthy. If I could. Let's see. And we can do number 2 at the same time. Which countries are very cheap for tourists and which countries are very expensive? And I have a list of those. So, C? What is C? I don't know. See, I feel like answers are coming in really late. I'm not sure. Okay, let me pull up my answers here because I have a list for the countries that you think are expensive for tourists and countries that are cheap. Hold on, let me find my notes here. Macau for world-renowned casinos, entertainment, and cultural festivals. Have you been? Yeah, I don't know. It's new for me, to be quite honest. Cost depends because I travel only once in a few years. Okay, 20%. I think that sounds kind of like, if you have a healthy paycheck, it's stable, it's regular, that seems to be something like one could budget for maybe. You don't have a lot of kids to put through college. 20% of our earnings. Okay. Do we have anybody else who would add more to that? And I have a list here of countries that are cheap for tourists and ones that are very expensive for tourists in general, because it also depends on your currency, right? Like your buying power, but just as a rule of thumb. Should we do, our children wants to visit Turkey. Yeah, I would love to go to Istanbul. That's definitely on my list. So what can you tell me? Most expensive countries to visit in the world. What can you tell me? What do you think? I have some in Western Europe. I have some in North America. I have Oceania, and I have East Asia. Which ones do you think cost 20%? So majority of people are saying 20% is about the budget for travel. I will go to Spain in September, but my husband pays for the vacation. I don't know the percentage of money we spend, but we used to travel twice a year. Nice, Karina. That's going to be wonderful. Where in Spain will you be? I really want to visit Hamburg. I really want you to visit Hamburg too. 20% of our annual income. Okay. Yes. So I think that seems sort of like a good budget, I would think, like a proper budget to do, like a responsible budget. All right, so expensive countries. Okay, let's start with North America. Clearly, USA, very expensive, and Canada, expensive. But where in Europe do you think what do you think are the most expensive countries in Europe? I have 4. The 4 most expensive countries in Europe, and I know one of them for sure. Africa, like Namibia, is expensive, while Vietnam and Cambodia are cheaper. Yeah, and we're going to Botswana. That's also really expensive, but we're going off season. So yeah, off peak season. So it's like a third of the price. So that's why we're doing it. So England is actually not on the list. It's not on the list. Nice try. But so yeah. Think more Scandinavian, the place with a lot of money, and think ooh la la. These are my tips, my hints for the most expensive countries in Europe. Yeah, what do you think? 4 expensive country of the most expensive countries in Europe. Norway, that's not on the list, but I think it probably should be. Oh, no. It is on the list. Norway, absolutely. Ding, ding, ding. Norway is on the list. So we have 3 more that need to be clobbered here, be guessed, let's say. So most expensive countries in Europe, in Western Europe, Norway is one of them. Okay, and we need another Scandinavian country, and then we need one that's Monte Carlo. Okay, that's probably very expensive too. It's not on my list. Yeah, we'll have to take that up with ChatGPT, but good guess, Lorena. What do you think? So we have Norway, we have another Scandi country, we have a place where they make really great chocolate, and we have a place where they make great bread. These are the 4 that I have on my list. Those are my hints. And then, yeah. Sweden's not on it. Nope, not Sweden. Switzerland, ding, ding, ding. Exactly, not Finland. Not Finland as well. We have Switzerland, Norway. Switzerland, Norway, Denmark, and France. And Denmark, I know, is expensive because we go there regularly. Because Peter's daughter studies there. And so it's really expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. Hi, Jen. Welcome. I didn't know you were here. So yeah, so most expensive countries in Europe, Switzerland, Norway, Denmark, France. North America, we have USA and Canada. Oceania, we have Australia and New Zealand. East Asia, Japan, and South Korea. Those are the most expensive. Monte Carlo is in France. Okay, never mind. But isn't it kind of like its own country? I don't know. I'm outing myself as being completely ignorant. Please help me, Alessio. Isn't Monte Carlo its own country? I don't know. Anyway, help me. So the cheapest places, where are the cheapest places to visit in Southeast Asia? I'm sure Iceland is also very expensive. Denmark is just next to Hamburg, isn't it? It is. It's right above. So it's very easy to get there. So if you come to Hamburg, it's like about a 3.5 hour train ride from Hamburg. It's very easy to get there. And yeah, it's its own country. Okay, good. That's what I thought. 8 hours by bus to get to Denmark, I guess. I don't know. All right. So cheapest countries for tourists in Southeast Asia. We have 4. What are you guessing? Cheapest countries, affordable accommodations, food, transport, great for backpackers. These 4 places. Southeast Asia. What can you tell me? What are you guessing? What do you think? And I will not be very good at giving any kind of clues here, so you'll have to really guess. Okay, we have Lorena saying Vietnam, check. Laos, check. Philippines. Philippines is not on the list, but you got 2. Okay, so we only need 2. I've only ever been to Japan, never Southeast Asia. Maybe one day, dear. So let's see. So we have Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, ding, ding, ding. We need 1 more, but I heard Thailand is getting expensive. Thailand is still on the list. So we have Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand. These are considered cheap for tourists in Southeast Asia. Which countries in Eastern Europe are cheap for tourists? We have a list with Indonesia and Vietnam and China. Okay, so what about with Eastern Europe? What can you tell me? 4 places for Eastern Europe. The 4 countries, beautiful cities and rich history at lower cost than Western Europe. So what can you tell me? And actually, I would like to go to all of these countries. Okay, we have Budapest, that's Hungary. Okay, definitely. So Hungary's on the list, exactly. So Hungary's gone. We need 3 more. We need 3 more. So Hungary, we have 3 more. So Bulgaria's on the list. Albania is like a totally hip place to go to nowadays too. I want to go there with my son. It's not on the list, but it probably is pretty good. So we have Bulgaria, Bulgaria. Everybody's saying Bulgaria. Iso-san, hello, welcome to you. I didn't realize you were here. Prague is on the list, but not on this list. I'm looking for a couple more. Bulgaria was correct. Hungary is right. I'm looking for 2 more countries that have not been mentioned. Bulgaria and Hungary so far. What other 2 countries, Eastern Europe, are on the list? Popular Eastern European destinations that are not so expensive. Slovakia, no. Romania, Lorena, ding, ding, ding. So we have Hungary, we have Bulgaria, we have Romania, and we need 1 more. Speaking of South Korea, I've seen my first K-drama, Crash Landing on You. Loved it. Okay, I don't know that. Send me that, Michaela, please. I'm curious. Moldova is not on the list. Not on the list. But I will give you a hint. This is really, I mean, yeah, but this is a really, I don't know. How do I give this? This is a place where a lot of American tourists go because they love the pottery. So the china, the dishes, the pottery. There's a thing called pottery. So what do you think? It's not Lithuania. It's not Bulgaria. It's not Slovenia. Poland. Exactly. So we have Poland, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Romania. Okay, those are the 4 Eastern European countries that ChatGPT says are the cheapest places to go in Eastern Europe. In South Asia, what can you tell me? My country, Albania, is a hidden gem of charm. I know. So Renee, I'm trying to plan a trip with my son. We totally want to come to Albania. It's absolutely on our list. And I feel like Albania is one of those places that in 5 years, everyone's going to be going to. So now is the time to go. So yes, I'll keep you posted on that one. Interesting. Okay. So Slovenia. So what can you tell me with South Asia? Incredible cultural experiences, Poland and English. Exactly. So incredible cultural experiences with cheap lodging and meals. So yeah, 3 countries here in South Asia. It's like a geography lesson. I would fail this so miserably. So anyway, I'm so glad I have the answers here. So incredible cultural experiences with cheap lodging and meals. 3 countries in South Asia that are great for tourists because it's not so expensive. Doot, and doot. What can you tell me? South Asia. Great places for not such expensive, for not such an expensive vacation. South Asia. And I think, yeah, I think this all makes sense. Let's see what you have to say. Thailand. Okay, I think Thailand is considered Southeast Asia, but this is South Asia. So Thailand was on the list for Southeast. You're totally right about that one. But so South Asian, I think I need a map. Let me see if I can find a map. Somebody from Spain is calling. I don't know why somebody in Spain is calling me, but they are. So what can you tell me? Sri Lanka, exactly. So Sri Lanka, one of the ones on our list. We need 2 more. 2 more in South Asia. South Asia. Sri Lanka is one of them. And India, Nepal. Ding, ding, ding. Exactly. I guess I don't know. Maybe Cambodia should be on that list as well. I don't know if that's Southeast. That's Southeast Asia. So that was on the list for Southeast Asia, but for South Asia, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. And then we have now North and South America. Countries that are great for adventure travel with low prices and food and attractions. Okay, so Yuki, just so you're on board here, South Asia was India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Now we have North and South America. Great places for adventure travel and low prices for food. Yeah, and different attractions. I've got 4 places. What can you tell me? North and South America. I want to go to all of these places. Cuba, yes. That would be very cool. It's not on the list. I don't know where it ranks in all of this. Sometimes ChatGPT just makes its own information up, but this is fun to be able to practice talking about different languages and to play a little quiz. So I'm not quite sure. It's not on our list. Definitely a place I would love to go to. I think, Natalia, you mean Colombia, maybe? Colombia's on the list. That's North and South America. Maybe that's a typo, but Colombia is on the list. And I've heard Colombia is extraordinarily beautiful. So Colombia, exactly, Lorena. We need 3 more in North and South America. Venezuela, not on the list. I don't know if it's not on the list because of political reasons. I don't know. So we have Colombia is correct. Yes, we need 3 new ones. Colombia and One of them has little worry dolls that you can put under your pillow. You tell the doll your concern, and then you put it under the pillow. Banking? I'm not sure what that means. Peru is unfortunately not on the list. Maybe it's more expensive nowadays, Karina. Maybe. Because this is for places to go to that are not so expensive. Brazil is not on the list. Colombia is one of these countries. So Natalia, just so you know, we're in North and South America. So North and South America country, we have Colombia. One of the countries is, and one of my neighbors. One of them, you can have little worry dolls that you tell your concern, and then you put them under your pillow, and they take the worries away. And the other one, they have very interesting hats and also have a lot to do with llamas. So kind of a little bit like Peru in a way. Mexico is on the list. Good, Lorena. Bolivia is on the list. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And we have one more. We've got Mexico, Bolivia, Colombia, and I don't know so much about this other country. I only know about the dolls. Chile is not on the list. I think Chile's pretty expensive nowadays. One more. And I can't think of a good clue. I unfortunately do not know enough about this country to be able to give you a clue other than these little dolls that you can buy as a souvenir everywhere. Should I just give it to you? All right. Puerto Rico, no, that's probably expensive. Okay, so here we go. Last one was Guatemala. For my South American friends, if you can give me, what should I have said that would have been a good hint for Guatemala? I only know they have these little worry dolls. Let me look them up and share them because maybe you know them as well. But we call them Guatemalan worry dolls, and they're very cute. Guatemalan worry. Oops, I'm just misspelling everything. Worry dolls. So there are these little guys. Maybe you've seen them before. Let me get to images. Or this is a better one. Where you can buy these little tiny dolls. And then when you have something that you're worried about, okay. So, okay, I don't know how to pronounce that. Because Quetzal would identify Guatemala. Good chocolate and coffee beans. Thank you guys. I'm sorry. So I know these guys where you like have a concern, they come in this little pouch, and then if you have a worry, you tell it the worry, and then you put it under your pillow, and it's supposed to make the worry go away, the concern go away. Thank you for your much more educated hints that I should have been able to give. But yes, Guatemala was the last place. And so with that, I will slowly but surely say goodbye to all of you. If I could ask you a big favor, if you could please just like this live stream after we're done here, it would be really a great help because that helps to show the algorithm that you learned something, that this is a good place to be so that our community can slowly grow. I appreciate your time and I hope you have a lovely evening. And yeah, I will try to share some more content from Cape Town with you in the next couple of days. And yeah, thank you. See you next week in a live stream. Take care. Bye.